Hi, welcome to Witham Kitchen. Sorry for the delay, but hopefully we can get on and we can do some lovely cooking today. So today I have got with me my lovely assistant, Mrs. Brewster. So we're going to cook today a really lovely, simple meal, and it's called pesto chicken. So I hope you're all going to join along with us, and if I go too fast, please talk to me on the online chat and we'll slow down for you. So shall we make a start? So, first thing, wash hands. So have we all gone off and washed our hands and made sure we've all got nice clean hands? Next thing, should we put the ovens on to preheat? So 200 degrees on fan, it's 180 on fan, sorry, and gas mark 6. So oven's ready, yeah, hands washed, we've all got our aprons on and we're ready to cook. So, where do we start?
Shall we make pesto?
Shall we make the pesto? Sounds wonderful.
Excellent.
So, first thing, we need a handful of basil. Thank you very much. So, we're going to put the basil, we're going to break it up into little chunks and put it into our food processor. It's a very tiny one. And then we need some pine nuts, and we've weighed out 25 grams of pine nuts. Now, you can toast these, and it gives you a really nice nutty flavour. But if you don't like that nutty flavour, don't worry. And you can also use sunflower seeds, and they give you a similar type of taste. Right, so we've got the basil leaves, the pine nuts, and the next thing is the Parmesan cheese. So we've weighed out and we've grated 25 grams of Parmesan. So that goes into the food processor, and I make a mess as usual, but don't worry about that. So, yeah, thank you very much. So, would you mind doing me a clove of garlic? Because I think we need a clove of garlic.
Okay, and this is just roughly chopped to put in the food processor.
Yeah, so it's just not too big, but like I said, we've got to take the skin off, and then we're going to not finely chop it, just roughly chop it. Watching our fingers. Now, if you're not sure about this, ask Mum or Dad to help you along with this. That's wonderful. And I don't know if you can see that, but just some nice chopped. So that goes in there with a little bit of olive oil.
What does the oil do?
So the oil allows it to blend smooth, and it also makes it softens the paste, and it makes it taste yummy. So, excuse the noise. So,
If you are quite busy, Steph, can you use ready-made pesto? Does it matter?
no. Ready-made pesto is very good that you can buy, and there's all sorts of pestos that you can buy. So if you don't like basil, you can try a sun-dried tomato pesto. You can try all sorts of things to put into the middle of this.
It's really about adding flavour to the chicken, which is quite plain, isn't it, by itself? So it adds a bit of flavour.
Yeah, and I think basil is really scrummy flavour, and the smell is wonderful. Right, this is taking a bit more oil than normal, but don't worry, it will come together. Can everyone see?
Is it better to add it slowly a bit by bit?
Yeah. I'm just going to scrape that down a little bit, because we're nearly there, we're not quite there. So what we're looking for is like a liquidy loose consistency, where it's all blended smooth. It's going now. Right, so I don't know if you can see that, but what we've got is a nice pesto. So we're going to scrape this out and put it into a bowl.
the practice in this, you have to test the flavour of the pesto, and I forgot I had a visor on. So I did get pesto all over my visor, didn't I?
It was an excellent pesto smile. I'm going to say, I'm just showing. So we've got this lovely pesto, and we're going to add our mascarpone cheese to it, and to make a lovely filling to go inside our chicken. So would you like to beat that together for me, if you wouldn't mind? I'm just going to clear these away. It looks wonderful, and we could always taste this to see if you've got the flavours right, and if you need to season it. Like I said, should we have a taste, see what we think? Would you like to try?
I know it was funny, but I don't know it again.
You've still got the smudge on your visor.
A little bit. Perfect.
That's lovely.
Just lovely. Just enough basil, just the right amount.
Excellent. So we put that aside, because what we're going to do next is make some breadcrumbs. So the breadcrumbs is what we're going to put on top of the chicken. So we've used a day-old bread, and we've cut the crusts off, and now we've put it into a blender, and excuse the noise again, but it's going to be a bit noisy. We're going to just blend the breadcrumbs into the bread, into breadcrumbs. So listen for this. Oh, it's not as noisy as I thought. So we're all ready. So the next job, we'll take these. Excuse me a minute. There's our lovely breadcrumbs. So at this stage you could add all sorts of things for it. You could lemon zest, you could add more basil, you could add dried herbs, more garlic, anything, chili seeds. It depends on your flavour, so whatever you would like to add, you could add to it. It's make it your own. So at the moment, we've done the pesto, we've done the breadcrumbs, so we need to oil the baking sheets so that we can put the chicken, and we're going to do a corn version as well for the vegetarians. So shall we start with doing the corn version? So I've just got 2 corn fillets, and I'm going to try very carefully take out a little bit so that we can make a little hole inside of it, so we could put some of our basil.
Just like the children, I'm leaving this to Steph. Those knives are very, very sharp, so please be careful.
And I'm trying to be careful, so you please be careful as well, because we don't want any accidents when I'm cooking. So there we are. So we've got 2 there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of this pesto inside each of these fillets. Yeah, I'm going to try a little bit more. Now you can add as much or as little, depending if you really like the pesto. I think it's really scrummy, so I'm going to add quite a lot.
Does it matter if it comes out when it's cooking?
No, because it's all flavour, and it adds to that look of being homemade, but it is really scrummy. So what we're going to do next with this is we're going to brush it with some oil, and what this will do is this will allow the breadcrumbs to stick to it. So that's what we're doing next. Look at that, doesn't it look really lovely? So I'll pop it in there and in there. A little pat down, because what we're going to do is we're going to make sure these breadcrumbs stick to it. There we are. Right, so if that can go into a baking tray now. Now, you've got to remember all your ingredients and your menu is on the website as well, so that if you all get stuck. Right, so that is the corn version done. The next one is we're going to do a chicken. Now I'm going to wash my hands. So I changed my board. So if you're at home, if you can have a quick wipe down, make sure your surfaces are clean. And we'll start with the chicken. It's like Blue Peter, what I've got ready here. So, this is one chicken fillet. And on here, we've got the fillet at the back. I'm going to take that off just so that it cooks even. And I'm also going to take off these bits that don't look very pretty and the bits of fat. So just be careful when you're doing your knife work here now, so you don't cut yourself.
I have to say my children do not like those little bits on there. I have to say they get very fussy about it, so I think it is better, isn't it?
It is. And like you said, if you're not so sure, use a pair of scissors, because that can just be just as good to cut it away. So what we've got is a really nice piece of chicken. Let me just take that little bit off there. Yeah. And get rid of that. So, because this chicken is wet and you can slip with a knife, I've suggested that we use some kitchen towel or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one in my hand just to hold it steady while I use my knife to cut a pocket into my chicken. So here we go. So we're cutting, but try not to go all the way through the chicken breast. What we're trying to do is create a little pocket, and I don't know if you can see that, but I'm trying to just cut into it, but not through it, so that we have a little pocket inside. Right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to fill it with some of this scrummy pesto. Yeah.
Mrs. Austin says Archie and Steph told me that they prefer the store-bought to my homemade. I presume it's the pesto.
Bless.
Get back to it. And then we've got, ooh, nice, looks so good. So people are getting excited about it already, and it's not even cooked yet. Excellent.
So we try and just push it in and seal it in so it's nice and sealed in. Now what we're going to do again is we're going to brush it with oil like we did with the corn version, and then we're going to put it into the breadcrumbs. So while I'm doing another one, so you can watch again, Mrs. Brewster's going to do that one for me. Please, if you wouldn't mind. You've got, I'll clean my knife.
Better to the chicken than the corn anyway, doesn't it?
It does, and like you said, it's the oil certainly helps it. So we're cutting that little pocket again. Yeah, and inside, look, we've got a lovely pocket to put our chicken in it. Our pesto, sorry. We're oiling that one. Are we oiling that one?
Okay, if you don't oil it, I'm presuming it will stick.
Yes, and then somebody has to wash it up. So if I cook, I don't wash up.
You mean I'm doing all the washing up?
Looks like it.
Oh no, I could be here all night.
You can with the mess that I make.
I look like I'm in the kitchen tomorrow morning, my class, I'm still here. Okay? One.
So we're all in there now. Lovely. Let me just take that little bit of fat off. They've missed a bit there. Look at that.
Yeah.
There you are. So we brush that with oil.
I presume that oil also keeps the chicken moist.
Yes, definitely. And so does the filling of the pesto. It'll keep the inside of the chicken lovely and moist and add lots and lots and lots of flavour.
I'm being very careful so I don't want to rush it. So I'm just passing it very rough on top.
So now we've touched all this chicken, we need to make sure that we wash our hands really well, and that we also wash our surfaces down. So we make sure we keep everything nice and tidy. So what we've got now at this moment, we've got our chicken breast with the breadcrumb on and the pesto, and we've got the corn version there, and these are going to go into the oven. So these will go into the oven for 20 to 25 minutes, depending on how good your oven is and how thick your chicken breasts are. So off they go into the oven. So we're going to have a quick clean down, and then we're going to show you what they look like when they're finished. Yes, so we haven't mentioned about the tomatoes.
Okay.
So if you've got big fine tomatoes, you can put them in at this stage. But if you've got only small ones like we have here, we're going to add it halfway through the cooking time, because they will disintegrate by the time the food's cooked.
When we did our practice one, we did that, didn't we? And it overcooked a bit.
Yes.
So this
Yeah.
time we're putting them in halfway. So give it a good 10 minutes before you put the tomatoes in, is that right?
That's right, yeah. So set your timer, and then halfway through we're going to add these tomatoes. So
Oil it.
you can do. Should we oil it first?
Yeah. And I have to say, I really like seasoning my tomatoes. So it's up to you entirely, isn't it? But
It
I always
is.
put a bit of oil on top of them and a bit of salt and pepper as well.
Because tomatoes like to be seasoned.
They do. Have a little bit of oil.
There you are.
I think I've turned into yeah, I'm assisting. Stop taking over, Mrs. Ruth.
There you are. There you are.
Thank you. And then just a little bit of salt. I've mixed up my salt and my pepper. Okay, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on there. Just brings out flavour, I think.
And don't they look beautiful? So they will go in 10 minutes time. So imagine that we've done that, because next stage is we're going to show you what they look like when they're cooked. So light blue Peter, we've already done a chicken and a corn version. So we get some plates, chopping board. We'll clear away these. Two nice plates. So there you are. So
As if by magic.
look at
20
this.
minutes later.
So depends on how brown you like these and crispy you like your breadcrumbs, but this has been cooking for 20 minutes and it's allowed to sit. If you allow your meat to sit after you've cooked it, it allows the juices to go back into it and you get a far better tasting piece of chicken. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it in half, just so that you can show you what it looks like inside. You got some lovely chicken there, look, with a lovely pesto inside, and then a thing of tomato, and let's garnish it with some of that lovely basil, and then we'll tidy this away and we'll do the corn version. Well, should we put some potatoes and green beans on?
So, look at that. As if by magic, some potatoes. Some green beans. I'm very glad you're plating it up and making it a lot prettier probably than I would. We would
Well.
love to see, when you've made your dishes, if your plate looks as beautiful as this, we'd love to see some photos, I think.
Now, doesn't that look like a wonderful treat? Shall we do the corn version as well for the... We'll do the corn version, it's just there.
Just here. Okay.
Another cheese.
I haven't got many questions, Steph. We're obviously
It's-
explaining it very carefully as we go along.
Do you think everyone understands us?
I hope so.
I do as well, and I hope you're going to cook along with us because, like you said, it's a really simple, but it tastes delicious.
Hopefully, everybody's too busy cooking to be asking questions.
Well, I hope you've managed to keep along with us. And like you said, we'll put a few potatoes on this one.
I just love the smell of fresh basil though, don't you, as well?
It is, it is.
It's as if we haven't got that, is it smell-o-vision? That television that you can smell, isn't it?
Shall we show what we've got today? So we've got pesto chicken and a corn pesto. So I hope you've enjoyed cooking with supper with Steph and Mrs. Brewster, and I hope that you have a fun time doing this yourself. Lots of pictures please and lots of comments. So hope you've enjoyed it.